What's going on, my six YouTubers? Welcome back to RT365. My name is Freak, and this is your channel, guys. And today, I have with me Steven from Bulgaria. How are you doing today, Steven?
I'm doing all right out here. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So we are going to be talking about HR1282. HR stands for what? House Resolution. Is that correct?
Yes, that is
Uh,
correct.
And I have Steven with me. He's the subject matter expert when it comes to this resolution here that we are trying to get through the House, hopefully to become law pretty soon. But Steven, I invited you today so we can talk about this resolution. I think it's very important that people understand, the background of this, what these resolutions stand for. Maybe a little bit of background on Major Richard Starr, which I believe he is no longer with us.
That's correct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Major Richard Starr passed February 13th of last year.
Well, that's very very sad. I'm gonna be putting some links in the description below of this video. If you are right now watching this video live, I encourage you to call us if you have any questions. I will be holding the questions towards the end. The phone number is 520-261-7246. So from now on, Steven, please, for the people that don't know, what are we trying to accomplish? I mean, the floor is yours, man. Tell us everything that we need to know, and also I like for you to share the information that you have when it comes to the Facebook page that you guys are pushing. So, floor is yours, man.
All right, great. Thank you for the introduction, Ricardo. For all the listeners out there following right now, I just want to start with hello. Thank you for joining. Glad to have you here, and I'll be glad to answer any questions towards the end of this or when Ricardo has the Q&A section of the podcast here. So a little bit more about what HR or House Resolution 1282 is here in the 117th Congress or the current Congress. All right. Simplified way of looking at Congress, it includes the Senate and your congressional leaders. Roughly 535 lawmakers if all positions are filled. And coming up here in this year in 2022, this is what's known as a midterm year, which is also one of those areas that can be kind of a pressure point sometimes for lawmakers when they're going for re-election. But politics aside, talking more about HR 1282 in the current Congress, when you have a bill, sometimes you have what's called a companion bill as well. So HR 1282 in the House, its companion bill is Senate Bill 344. Both are commonly referred to as the Major Richard Starr Act. Just to give you some data for everybody to understand, currently right now, as of today, there are 177 co-sponsors of HR 1282, and there are 55 co-sponsors of Senate Bill 344. If you're unfamiliar with how bills work, moving from committee through votes to the floor, things like that, basically a vote will be brought up and then it'll be sent to the appropriate committee or committees, and then maybe even down to the subcommittee level. So as an example, anybody who's watching this, you can also check out congress.gov. This is an excellent resource to stay up to date on progress of any bills realistically. So for HR 1282, currently where the bill's sitting, It's sitting, I believe, in the Subcommittee on Disability Assistance and Memorial Affairs. And it's been passed through the, there's currently with House Armed Services and House Veterans Affairs. So when we're talking about the policymakers that can bring these bills out of the committees, I'll give you a few names. So for the subcommittee on Disability Assistance and Memorial Affairs, the ranking member right now is Representative Troy Nels. Not actually knowing how to pronounce his name. Now, each committee will have its chair. So typically the lawmaker who decides what gets voted on and what will go to the floor after it makes it out of committee. So for the House side, on the Armed Services Committee, Representative Adam Smith out of Washington, he's the chair. And for the House Veterans Affairs Committee, we have Representative Mark Takano out of California. He's the chair. And for the companion bill, it's very similar in the Senate. So where it's sitting now with the Committee on Armed Services, and you can break that down to the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee. They have some oversight on this right now as well. So for the Senate Veterans Committee, the main sponsor in the Senate who brought up Senator John Tester out of Montana, he's the chair there. And for the Senate Armed Services Committee, that's going to be Senator Jack Reed, I believe out of Rhode Island, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just kind of the technical aspects of the bill. To kind of humanize it a little bit more, if you're unfamiliar with who Major Richard Starr is, he unfortunately passed away last year due to cancer. And he's been a huge advocate, not only in the beginning of this Congress, but the previous Congress, where there was also a little bit of push for the Major Richard Starr Act, as we call it. For those who might be wondering, well, what does the Major Richard Starr Act do? Who would it affect? I can give you a little bit of the information on that. So the bill, it's about 4 pages long, which is considerably short for any bill in the House or Senate, but it's also pretty straightforward. So what it wants to do, the bill would expand what's called concurrent receipt so that the affected veterans would be able to receive both their VA Veterans Affairs disability compensation and their retired pay or combat related special compensation. In terms of the numbers of veterans that it affects, the approximation right now, it's a little bit over 42,000 plus veterans who would be positively affected by this. If you're a data nerd a little bit, every year the Department of Defense Office of the Actuary, they put out a military retirement system report, I believe it's called, and they break it down by state, how many veterans who are disabled retired, concurrent receipt, regular retired. So the information is there, and it's one of the things that's actually very helpful for lawmakers and necessary when they are thinking about sponsoring or not sponsoring any bill. So more specifically for the veterans who would be affected by this bill, the bill focuses on Chapter 61, so medical retired veterans, all right? Chapter 61 veterans with less than 20 years of active military service who are eligible for combat related special compensation or who have a combat related disability, okay? So out of all the Chapter 61 veterans, which if I'm not mistaken, I believe that might total over 450,000 throughout the different generations. What this bill would do is it'll help a portion of those as it kind of sets the stage to build momentum for future bills to be introduced that will hopefully also help out the remainder of Chapter 61 bills. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the lowdown and skinny there, Ricardo, of the bill. It's very straightforward. As far as Facebook pages that listeners can go check out, I'm adminning one, which is called the Major Richard Starr Act. You just type that in the search bar, you can find it. And there's also another group that's been helping us out as well. One of the other ones is called the Major Richard Starr Advocate Group. Basically, a lot of veterans have been able to come together on this bipartisan bill, and they're helping push contacts, open these dialogues with lawmakers who you'd be amazed sometimes that there are actually quite a few bills that come through desks every year, and sometimes things just fall in the cracks. So I know that a lot of veterans might uh, be rightly frustrated that, hey, why hasn't this passed yet? Why isn't somebody sponsoring this? Sometimes it's just a matter of it fell through the cracks, and it's not anybody's fault there. So one of the goals that we're trying to use with the Facebook group with Major Richard Starr Act, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help build that dialogue through concise, honest communication between lawmakers and constituents. Yes.
You know, that's pretty good that you bring all these how can I say, all these points, but the uh, how these translate when it comes to the taxpayer, because the way I'm seeing is and I'm not talking about who's going to pay for the bill, because if we go to war as a nation, we don't just incur in the bill of going to war. You got to be prepared for everything else that comes behind. But what I'm talking about is as a voters. I only see that 73 Republicans are sponsoring or co-sponsoring this bill. 104 Democrats. Why is that's a huge difference? Is just because we haven't contact enough Republicans, or is because we? I mean, what else can we do, or what can we do better to get this number to 300?
Oh, definitely. That's an excellent question. So a lot of times people ask, just like you have, Ricardo, why hasn't my lawmaker sponsored this? Is it a matter of Republican, Democrat, Independent? What I would tell you is one of the best ways to uh, continue the conversation and to actually improve the chances of your own lawmaker in your state, so your national lawmakers from your state to uh, join as co-sponsors. It's through phone calls and email communication. That's a very direct way. So far, in December, for example, of last year, I spent a couple weeks actually going through uh, almost all 535 lawmakers through their military legislative assistance. Okay, and this is also an important part for everybody listening. You have a military legislative assistant or perhaps the legislative director for each representative or senator. And these are your gatekeepers who help inform your lawmakers, hey, this is what the bill is about, and this is something that we should hop on and take action on. So that's what I would recommend there, Ricardo.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and very important that people understands how the systems, different systems work. I am new to this. I've been reading since I messaged you about this HR 1282. I think it's very important that we pass these type of bills. If we I mean, as a taxpayer myself, because I'm retired, I see that we are passing these tremendous, huge, ridiculous bills, and not just billions, but trillions and trillions of dollars. Why are we not paying attention? Why we don't introduce this into a bill like that? Why we don't? I mean, where my taxpayers' money is going. I pay the government my taxes for one purpose: is for them to keep me safe in my country. That's it. I don't care about the roads; just keep me safe. There's a good reason why the Germans or the Japanese or the or North Korea, they don't come here, and it's not because we just got weapons than any other place in the world, more weapons than anybody else, but it's because we pay for to have the government and the armed forces that we deserve. So when it comes to pay back on the what happened after service, connected disabilities, combat related compensations, we need to pull up, and pay the bill, because there's lives, that can benefit from these benefits. So what is the page not about? I seen that there's a lot of most of the comments I see on the pages are, I am trying to apply for my CRSC. Can anybody help me out?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, 90% of the comments on the pages are CRSC. Help me out with this. Help me out with that. Um, in addition, you probably know something else, that there's companies that offer their services for
Mhm.
free to help the veterans, but I'm sure they cannot help every single veteran. What are your recommendations? What are your opinions on that?
Okay. So are we talking more about the CRSC part of things, Ricardo?
Correct, correct. What the
All right.
customer is going after on the page,
Okay.
instead of paying
Yeah,
attention to
that's
the HR.
actually, yeah, that's another excellent question. So when it comes to combat related special compensation, so this is something that is paid out by each military branch. So for example, if you served in the Air Force will handle your paperwork for this. If the Army, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force now, which I'm pretty sure they don't have anybody yet, but if they do, and so each branch uh, handles CRC for its own veterans. So, for example, I served in the United States Army as a cavalry scout, and U.S. Army, they handle the CRSC. So, what it is, if I remember correctly now, it's basically just a form. You fill out the form with the information, which a simple way to explain it, you'll write down your service connected disabilities, which you're currently receiving VA disability compensation for. And then that goes before the board for CRSC for your specific branch, and they'll make a determination. So, for example, if you were involved in an explosion uh, during your service for combat and everything, and you have a rating for TBI as an example. If that was deemed combat related and to draw the CRSC, then they would award the appropriate percentage for that. So,
So this is another tool for soldiers, sailors, Marines, all of us, to help each other out when it comes to the CRSC. There's many other programs that you guys need to be aware, and you can only learn more about these things by being involved, by asking questions. Don't be too worried about. I mean, no question is a stupid question. Okay. I'm putting these videos. We're putting these videos together for you guys, so you guys can benefit from this. Maybe I know there's people out there that haven't heard anything about the Major Resource Store Act. I mean, they are unaware. So we need to continue pushing the campaign. We need to make this part of our awareness month, military awareness month, which is every month. because it's going to help. It's going to help lives. It's going to help families. It's going to help veterans, and there's no better. I have no better satisfaction than helping veterans, man. I really take great pride on doing that. Thank you so much for taking your time today. I know that is you're probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning where you at.
Yeah, it's a little bit later, early, depending on perspective, but
Okay.
I'm more than happy to spend the time.
Thank you so much for your time. Everybody else out there watching, don't forget to like the video, share the video, comment on the video, go to the description of the video below, where you will see all the Facebook pages that are linked there. The Congress.gov page is going to be there. The HR1282 page link will be on the description. And lastly, I'm going to put a list of the co-sponsors of this bill, so you guys know if your representative is sponsoring this bill, you're good to go. But if not, give him a call, shoot him an email, do what you got to do. Anything else, Steven?
I think that's pretty much summarizes it very well. So one of the things for veterans and supporters that you can do. Um, Remember, we can just help each other out when it comes to this. So even if your senators or representatives are already on board, maybe you can help lend some time to help other people reaching out and starting that conversation with their lawmakers.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Take care.
All right.